Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on, for the moment, a beautiful Friday in Nashville, Tennessee. We're at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. Unusually quiet here for a Friday, but kind of nice. Normally, the weekends are very, very busy. Let me say hello. Kelly Holcomb, by the way, not with us today. He'll be back on Monday. Parker Kelly is alongside. Parker, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much, George. I'm very excited. It's Friday. The weekend is upon us. We have a great slate of football games to watch, and I couldn't be happier.
So what do we do now?
Well, we're waiting for our guy back at the station to get things figured out on his end. If you want, I can go ahead and go through the update.
Sure, what the hell?
All right. Our update is brought to you by our football night in Nashville promotion. Please join us next Thursday night for Thursday Night Football out at Sports and Social out in Green Hills Mall. 5:30 is when we go ahead and get things set up after the show, so please come join us out then. So we have an MLB postseason update as the LA Dodgers are now up 3-0 in the series against the Milwaukee Brewers. They will play Game 4 tonight at 7:38, and also the Blue Jays have tied things up with the Mariners in the ALCS. That score, or the series, is even 2-2. Blue Jays won last night 8-2.
That's a surprise to me. I didn't think Toronto would come on back. All of a sudden, Seattle better win Game 5, or it's probably not going to be theirs.
Yeah, that one is interesting because the Blue Jays have put it on them the last two games. It seemed like Seattle had a good grip on the series after the first two, but not a lot of hope for the Brewers as they're down 3-0 to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Moving on to NHL, to the ice, the Nashville Predators are wrapping up their Canadian road trip. Last night, they fell to the Canadiens 3-2 in overtime for their first official loss of the season. They're sitting at 2-1-2. They'll wrap things up in Canada as they will play in Winnipeg tomorrow night versus the Jets, 6 p.m. puck drop.
Let me say this about the Preds. They're playing better hockey. Last night was absurd. The tying goal by Montreal is scored with something like 19 seconds to play. The Preds are not able to capitalize on a wide open net. And then Montreal gets a skater essentially behind the defense. To use a basketball term, he kind of stops and pops. And the problem is that in the Andrew Brunette era, this kind of stuff goes on way too often late in games. They don't seem to know what their plan is. If you go back as far as year one, when they make the playoffs, they lose, I think it was Game 4 here against Vancouver, where they give up 2 goals in a 12-second span in the final minute of the game. Too much of this is going on. Those who think a coaching change is necessary, this gives them food for, this gives them cannon fodder. This stuff's got to stop.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to watch the game last night, but from people I talked to, they said that this loss was very reminiscent of what happened last year with the Nashville Predators. Would I be correct in saying so?
Say that again.
This loss that they suffered last night was very reminiscent of the losses that the Preds had last season.
Well, there's several of these kind of meltdowns. And the problem is, like I said, the Andrew Burnett era has had way too much of this. Too much foolishness late in games where nobody seems to know where they're supposed to be. Nobody from Montreal should have gotten behind the Preds last night to be able to, basketball terms, stop and pop and beat UC to the short side. It's a point that's completely wasted that they should have had.
I agree. Moving on to Thursday Night Football, the Cincinnati Bengals took down the Pittsburgh Steelers last night, 33-31 in the Icy Hot Bowl. Joe Flacco was the story of the night, threw for 342 yards on 31 of 47 passing and 3 touchdowns. His counterpart, Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 34 for 249 yards, 4 touchdowns, all to tight ends, and 2 interceptions.
Crazy game. Absolutely crazy game.
This is, to me, a loss that it reminds me of the Steelers from last year. They had a stronghold on the division, the AFC North, and now with this win from the Bengals, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Joe Flacco absolutely torched them.
He did, and he's one of those guys where he has the right pieces in place with Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins, good run game. Defense isn't there, but if you give him enough on offense, he can make something happen, and he did that last night. I have a couple more things to wrap up. I don't want to steal Terry McCormick's thunder, but Calvin Ridley
Terry's not coming on until 4:00.
Yeah, I know. But Calvin Ridley has been ruled out against the Patriots on Sunday with a hamstring. Him and Arden Key both.
Yeah, that certainly does not help them. As you get this interim coach into the swing of things, they'll be without sort of their number one receiver. He was number one, I guess, in Arizona. But the problem is you don't see him be a number one often enough. This is the second time this year he has not been able to play because of injury.
Yeah. And one more thing before we get to Josh Crouch. I've been told that we have him on the line, head coach at Green Hill. Former Golden State general manager Bob Myers has left ESPN to join the Harris Blitzer Sports Group. Josh Harris, who's the owner of the Commanders, that's his group, as president. So he'll get to work among more professional leagues.
Okay, you take it from here and go.
All right. With that, we welcome in head coach of Green Hill High School, Josh Crouch. Coach, first of all, can you hear me? And if you can, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are y'all?
Doing just fine. So, kind of catch us up to speed so far on your team. You're 5-2. You're hosting a really good Lebanon team tonight. What have you liked out of your team 7 games into the season?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a variety of different kind of competition. You know, we've played 7 football games up to this point. We've got 2 losses, both of them to number 2 Ravenwood and number 1 in 5A Page. So they've had two games where, you know, we felt like trying to press our kids a little bit, trying to get us in some tough environments or games to try to press a little bit of see what we're made of, and knowing that we're, you know, putting our guys in a competitive atmosphere. And then for us, the remainder of the games, it's just been consistent play. We've had 1 game where we had 4 turnovers in the first half. We've had 2 games where we've given up a total of, you know, 4 right at 100 yards of total offense on defense. So we've had 2 games where we played really, really well, and 2 games where we've kind of started slow. And then we've had 2 games where, you know, you learn your most in losses and had to go back and evaluate. So it's a very mature group. It's an older group. We're led by 39 seniors this year. So I'm just trying to continue to evaluate them and put us in a good position. And right now, this is, you know, big time right here. 7-0 Lebanon team coming in. First time they've been 7-0, I think, since the late 80s or early 90s. And their staff is doing a great job, and their kids are playing really good football right now.
Coach, I real quickly wanted to touch on the scheduling dynamic, because I know the history of Green Hill, you know, early exits in the first round of the playoff the last 2 years, made an emphasis to kind of schedule a little bit tougher, especially early on in the season, so that your team is prepared for when they get to that point in the playoffs. Expand on that a little bit more about how you feel like this has prepared your team now that they have seen some tougher competition.
Yeah, 2 years ago we go as the 3rd seed down to Riverdale, and we get beat. I think that game was 44-20 was the final on that one, and 7 of the seniors that are this year's seniors were sophomores starting their first playoff game that night, and went down and lost to Riverdale. Felt like they were the best team that we played all year, and then Last year, there was about 12 of our juniors during that year that are now seniors that was starting for us, and kind of same boat. The best team that we had seen all year was Blackman at the end of the year in the first round of the playoffs. And, so when the off season came around, we had our 2-year cycle come up. We're trying to evaluate what we've got going on with our program and how to continue to get better and how do we get to that next level. And, felt like that we needed to have answers and evaluate our team and our program from game film. Ended up scheduling Beach, Ravenwood, Page, and Centennial as our non-region games, and ended up coming 2-2 out of that. And Beach's only loss right now is that week 1 loss that we had when we played them. And I think for us it's just been constant growth and trying to make sure we see the best and give our kids a view of what we've got, and then that way when we get to that first week of the playoffs, we're able to evaluate some of the things that we've seen. For us, Rutherford County is a different animal as it is. Our region historically hasn't really matched up very well with them all the way down to the 4 seed, and now that county is all one big pool, it's going to be even harder for us this year to continue to compete against them. But I felt like that's kind of the biggest thing for us was to challenge our kids. And it's all great going 10-0, but it don't matter. Only thing people remembered is us losing in the first round of the playoffs last year, not that we were 10-1. So I would rather be the year that we were at Smyrna and we ended up winning the state championship. We were 13-3 or 13-2, and I would take that much more than 10-1.
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned your senior class and how big the senior class is ultimately. And I'm a former player. I get it. I know that, obviously having that experience returning will go a long way for this team. But I wanted to kind of look at it from a bit of a different angle. How do you feel that this current senior class has done in setting up leaders in the junior, the sophomore, even the freshman class to kind of continue to carry this culture even after this senior class is gone?
Yeah, we're pretty narrow-sighted right now with being in the moment with these senior class, but as a coach, you look forward to the next 5-6 years going forward, and just to be frank, when you lose 39 kids on the football team, you're almost restarting a complete new year next year. So for us, it's been about allowing our seniors to lead in different avenues or different ways. We allow them to do our car rider lines in the morning, and we give them elementary schools that they're in charge of to make sure they got 4 or 5 kids on every Friday. We've given time in the off season with a book study where each senior had a group of three kids that they could talk to, and we had larger groups that 1 or 2 of the seniors would be in charge of giving other people, things to reflect on in the book study this off season. And then we got great kids and great families as well. So anytime you partner as a coach with, good home lives and good parents that are supportive, that want, the best for their kids, you keep that in the back of your mind. And the senior or the freshmen have their season ended right before fall break, so 2 weeks ago. And they've now came up and started practicing with our varsity. And I think, when I was a freshman, I got out there and I got to see David Wolke practice and Charles Arona, and I got to see those guys up close and personally. It kind of made me feel like I needed to, step my game up. So just allowing them to continue to model and be what we want to be about. Hopefully that turns into some success in the future for those guys that are watching every move that those guys make.
And I got one more for you. This is the best Lebanon team in recent memory for me. Without giving too much away in terms of your game plan, what's been the emphasis at practice this week preparing for this Lebanon team?
First off, their head coach is offense coordinator as well. They have a ton of formations, and they go unbalanced. They go, 4 strong. They'll go motions and shifts. They do a lot of window dressing with motions on the back end, and their orbit motion and run jet away. And all kinds of stuff. So they do a really good job of scheming and getting you outnumbered and making you feel uncomfortable on defense. And then offensively, for us, their defense coordinator is a good friend of mine. He's very organized, very detailed. Their kids play a very unselfish brand of football. They are asked to take up a gap for linebackers. They're asked to squeeze offensive linemen and maybe not make a tackle, but make the hole tighter for the linebackers to fill. And they're doing exactly what they've been asked to do on the defensive side of the ball. So for us, 17 is a really physical high school running back. He's a really good, they kind of lived through him. I felt like two of the games that were the closest for them this year, 17 didn't play their running back. And, the games that he did play, he's averaging 9.5 yards a carry. And those games were not very close at all on the ones that he did play. So we've got to do a really good job of tackling and running the football. And then we've got to do a good job of staying on the field, getting first downs and finishing with points, whether that be touchdowns or field goals.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate the time and best of luck tonight versus Lebanon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having us on.
That was head coach Josh Crouch with Green Hill High School. They have a big game tonight as they welcome the undefeated Lebanon Blue Devils to town.
Okay, we'll get Football Friday off and running. George Robinson from the Tennessean will join us next on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
If you're looking for, it's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
We are back here on Football Friday. Let's quickly say hello to George Robinson from the Tennessean. George, how you doing?
I am doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good, thank you. So this is going to be self-serving. I'm going to see BGA's homecoming against Pope Prep tonight. I know. And it's a little bit of a homecoming. Rock Batten was once BGA's coach, and now he's at Pope Prep. Kind of tell me about his team a little bit.
Well, I saw them play against FRA earlier this year, and I was actually FRA won that game. It was a high-scoring game, but I was really impressed with their offense, including Coach Batten's son, who's the quarterback, Isaiah Batten. I was telling somebody at the Tennessean that Isaiah kind of reminded me of like a young Florida State quarterback, Jameis Winston. He kind of has that kind of ability. Super accurate. Can throw on the run. But I was really impressed with how well their offense is run. And of course, the offensive coordinator is Jamal Stewart, who used to be the head coach at East Nashville, got East Nashville to a couple of state championship games in Class 3A when they were in 3A. And then he spent a couple years as the head coach at Centennial before he took over the offense at JP2. So what really impressed me was how, and particularly in that FRA game, was how inventive he was with his offensive play calling. FRA's got a really good defense. I know BGA knows that. But FRA really had a hard time keeping JP2 out of the end zone. And I think a lot of that had to do with Isaiah Batten at quarterback and the job that Jamal Stewart has done with that offense. I just think their offense is really innovative. And they're going to be in the discussion, and they're coming. I will say that they're coming once they get some depth and acquire some more talent. They're going to be in the conversation in the next few years.
George, for you tonight, what is the game of the biggest interest for you?
Well, there's a couple of games that are interesting to me. Our game of the week this week is the Lebanon at Green Hill game. I think Lebanon's been a bit of a surprise this year at how well they've played. They're 7-0 going into tonight's game against Green Hill. The only issue I think for Lebanon is I don't think their strength of schedule probably isn't quite like Green Hill's. Green Hill's has been through the gauntlet a little bit more than Lebanon. But I think, it's that region, I think, which is region 4-6A. That region's interesting because it's really a 3-team race between Lebanon, Green Hill, and Gallatin. And Gallatin's interesting from the standpoint of, they lost their starting quarterback in Jackson Strout, and Gallatin hasn't lost a game, while he's been out. They're 2-0, so they're going to factor into that region, who wins that region title, and certainly who finishes first and second in that region to wrap up a home playoff game. So. It's going to, in whoever that third team is in that region, which, my guess is going to be either Lebanon, Green Hill, or Gallatin. They go on the road in the first round of the playoffs. And I'm telling you, that's not going to be a team you want to see show up at your place, and try to knock them off in the first round of the playoffs.
And George, you touched on Green Hill and Lebanon. We just got off the phone with Josh Crouch, and he talked about the scheduling dynamic for Green Hill and how they purposely scheduled this season a little bit tougher, especially earlier on in the season, because they've been first round exits in the playoff the last 2 years. I thought his answer was very great because he wanted to challenge his kids a little bit more, and that certainly seems to have played itself out. And now they welcome a really good Lebanon team into town. What are you expecting in that one?
Well, you mentioned how these coaches have scheduled this year. It seems like a lot of coaches have done that sort of scheduling. Some coaches are used to it, and they like to schedule those tough non-region games to kind of prepare them. They're not so much worried about what their overall record is. Tony Brunetti comes to mind when you talk about that at Pearl Cone. Tony, he didn't care that they were 0-3. He just wanted to play that tough schedule and have his team ready when the playoffs roll around. And Coach Crouch, you got to think about, Green Hill is a fairly new program. They've been around now for, I guess, about 4 years, maybe 5 years. Early in the program's history, as you're kind of developing the program and you're developing sort of the culture that you want to set, it's important to get wins under your belt, to get that school and get the fan base kind of behind the program, get them excited about high school football on Friday nights, give them a product that they want to see and they can get behind. So, usually when you start a new program, those first couple of years, you're just trying to get wins. So maybe your schedule isn't as tough as it needs to be, but as you start to develop and you start to position yourself as a potential region champion, potential playoff contender, and you start wanting to, it's not so much about getting wins as it is about trying to get to the playoffs and then making a run and making a deep run. And I think that's probably where Coach Crouch and Green Hill is at this point. They've had really successful regular seasons. Now they want to get in the playoffs and make a run. And the only way you do that is if you schedule tough opponents during the regular season to kind of get you prepared for that. And like I said, against Lebanon, I think, Green Hill's defense has always been really good under Coach Crouch. And, they still got Cannon Burrows, who's a fantastic quarterback for them, big kid. I just don't know that Lebanon has faced a team quite as good as Green Hill. I have Green Hill, edging Lebanon out and giving Lebanon that first loss. But like I said, that region is so competitive with those three teams at the top that, even if Green Hill wins and Lebanon takes that loss, Lebanon can still have a chance at this region. So, there's a lot to kind of look forward to in that matchup, and then in the next couple of weeks as we wind down the regular season.
And for Green Hill, they are such a new school, but it just seems like they've come out of the gates swinging, especially in the regular season. Yeah. Do you see the fact that they've scheduled so tough this year? Do you see that benefiting them once they do get to the playoffs in November?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about at this point. And you got to schedule tough games in the regular season to prepare you for all of the obstacles and the issues that you'll face when you get to the playoffs. You get to the playoffs and the weather's not great. You got to do a lot of traveling, so you have that kind of to deal with. You're facing a lot of teams that you may not be that familiar with. So there's that. So there's just a lot of obstacles that you kind of have to wade through in order to win playoff games in November, and then and hopefully you find yourself in the state championship in December. But the way that you do that is you play those, you schedule those tough games in the regular season, early in the season, and you kind of get your kids used to being uncomfortable a little bit. And again, it's not so much, for a lot of coaches, it's not so much about wins and losses early on. Once you get into your region play, you got to start winning games because you want to be among those top 4 teams in your region to make the playoffs. Certainly top 2, get a home playoff game. But those early non-region games against tough opponents, you're not really worried about wins or losses. You're just really we need to face this kind of competition because this is the kind of competition that we're going to face when November rolls around and you're in a single elimination, winner takes all scenario. So the more that you are accustomed to that, and the quicker it is to adjust to it, and the easier it will be to pull out those wins in November and when the playoffs start.
And ironically, there's another matchup that I'm looking at, and these two teams have the exact same record as Lebanon and Green Hill, respectively. That's Good Pasture Christian and Grace Christian. Grace Christian is undefeated on the year. Good Pasture's sitting at 5-2. Do you see this as a potential slip-up spot for Grace Christian, where maybe they get their first loss of the season at the hands of Good Pasture?
Well, I'll tell you this: if they're looking at FRA in a week, this could be a game, sort of a trap game, if you will. Good Pasture is just good is good enough to beat Franklin Grace. We talk about some teams that we've been a little bit surprised with this year. Lebanon's one of them because of their 7-0, but Franklin Grace has been outstanding this year. Good Pasture, they got Caden Stroud. He was the running back at Davidson Academy in years past and had, some successful years there at Davidson Academy. He's now at Good Pasture, having another great year. He could do some damage in tonight's game. Franklin Grace is going to have their hands full against Good Pasture. But that game for Franklin Grace, that FRA game, on the 24th next week. That's going to be a huge game for them. Now, I know they're going to be excited and pumped up for that one, but they can't, sort of overlook Good Pasture thinking about the FRA game coming up. So, this certainly feels a little bit like a trap game, but I'm sure their coaching staff at Franklin Grace has told them about that. They've probably talked about it all week, and I'm sure these kids are ready to handle Good Pasture, and they'll move on to FRA once the clock hits 000 tonight.
And one more matchup that I wanted to ask about, McCallie and Knoxville Catholic. I know that is outside of Middle Tennessee, but I really think it's intriguing because two teams with 2 losses on the year. Record may not indicate how talented these two teams are. McCallie and Baylor, I personally think, are the best 2 teams in the state. I'd put them up against almost anybody. What are you expecting in that one over in East Tennessee?
Well, if anybody's sleeping on McCallie, that's just foolish. They're the 2-time defending state champs, and they took Baylor all the way to the wire a couple of weeks ago, I think. It might have been last week, but they took Baylor all the way to the wire. I think most people generally feel like Baylor's the best team in the state. But, and so McCallie, they're right there. They are right there. Now that is a rivalry game. There's times where, your team may not be very good, but they always play their chief main rival well, regardless of the talent gap that may exist between the two. And I don't think the talent gap is that far. I don't think Baylor has that far of an advantage in talent. I think they are more talented than McCallie, and I feel like Baylor probably will. I feel like Baylor will win the state title in D2 AAA, but McCallie's not that far off. And so I like Catholic. They got 2 really, really good players, a Tennessee commit and Tyree King. They also have the Notre Dame commit in Chaston Smith, who's actually a cousin of Tyree King's. So Knoxville Catholic is much more improved than they were last year. But I do feel like I feel like if Catholic wins, that's an upset, number one. But if they do win, I think Tyree King's going to have to just have an absolutely fantastic, dominant performance in order to give Catholic a chance to beat McCallie, because I don't know if Catholic can really stop McCallie defense. Catholic's defense can really stop McCallie's offense. So that's going to be to me, that's going to be the bigger issue.
George, appreciate it as always. Get your bowling shoes ready. We'll talk soon.
I got them. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to bowl.
Love it. George Robinson from the Tennessean joining us for his weekly visit. After the break, Holly Taylor will be with us from Star Physical Therapy, kind of out of nowhere, I guess. I'm not sure when I say this. The TSSAA has put some new stuff out there about concussions. We will talk with Holly about that when we come back on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up, 615-793-9500, or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Friday on 94.9 The Fan from 3 to 5 p.m.
Talk sports with the Plaz, the George Plaster Show. Weekday afternoons at 3 on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back on this Football Friday. Now, it is overcast. I will give you this one bit of weather update. Tomorrow may well feel like the last day of this summer stuff. They're talking about 87 tomorrow, which is crazy, and may well have an impact on the Vandy LSU game, which starts at 11. Sunday, totally different story. Upper 60s. Quite a bit of rain in the morning, and then way, way cooler after that. And for about 7 days, a bunch of highs in the 60s. There's your weather report, sponsored by me.
Meteorologist George Plaster.
Don't ever underestimate that. Let's check in with Holly Taylor. I'm sure she enjoyed that forecast. Holly, how you doing?
Good. That was pretty fabulous right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm ready to go on one of these stations and talk about low pressure systems and trough aloft kind of stuff.
You are ready to fill in.
Absolutely. So you sort of laid one out there to me today that was a surprise. I guess the TSS
I lost
I'm gonna let you kind of explain what's going on and then I'll ask some really dumb follow-ups.
Awesome. Yeah, so the TWA kind of caught up with the state law, actually. And so per the Tennessee concussion law, the only people that can sign off on the concussion form for a return to play for a kid who has, either been suspected of a concussion or getting cleared from a concussion has been a MD, DO, or a neuropsychologist, all with concussion training. The state law also added physician's assistants, PAs, several years ago, and now the TWA has added that to the form as well. So PAs, physician's assistants with concussion training, can now sign off on that form independently.
Wow, that is interesting. So kind of take that in a practical sense. Let's say I play tonight and it looks like I got a concussion. What can happen now?
Yeah, and so, if you want to get, an appointment right away, some of those doctor's offices, some of those PCP offices are open on Saturdays. There's some ortho clinics around that are open on Saturdays, and majority of the time, those are staffed by either nurse practitioners or physician's assistants. And so instead of going to an ER because you don't have any of the danger signs that we talked about, you could easily go in on a Saturday, get seen by somebody, a PA who has current concussion training, and at least get the ball rolling sooner than later than, say, seeing your doctor on Monday or Tuesday, trying to get that appointment in.
So in the big picture, how much good does this do?
I think it will be good, especially if a lot of the PAs out there kind of dig back in and get some concussion training of what's current now, which is actually pretty simple and free. I know that the NFHS has some free videos, but so does the CDC. The CDC has one that's specifically geared towards providers, healthcare providers, so the PAs, MDs, DOs. And what's great about that is that it really focuses on really the current stuff, so no more of the, how you talked about it last time, it's not you didn't get your bill wrong. You probably have a concussion. And the prevalence of PAs out there in most offices is pretty profound anymore. And the fact that a lot of kids really don't see a family physician quite often. And so it really opens up kids to getting better care even sooner.
So I want to run one by you and kind of see what you think. So on Sundays, being kind of a couch slug, I watch a lot of NFL football. And one of the things that has been a pleasant surprise to me is, Holly, they've got these independent observers up in the press box. And when they see something that concerns them, somebody wobbling around and clearly doesn't have any business being on the field until they get checked out, these independent observers can buzz the official and say, get 23 out of there. We don't like what we're seeing. I honestly believed when it first came up that the teams would go crazy and absolutely just, storm the Bastille. We don't want this, and yet more as I see it, the coaches almost are acting like they appreciate it. I don't see the belly aching that I thought there would be.
I think so. Those are athletic trainers that are up in the booth that are doing those spotting, and then down on the field is an independent, and it's usually going to be a local neurologist with a lot of concussion training, and they're the ones who go into the tent with the player to do the evaluation to see exactly what's going on. Because, sometimes you just don't know. It could be a concussion or, did they get stepped on or their knee hit and that's why they were off balance or something. But the process for that is pretty good. And I think they usually do a very good job with that.
Yeah. Anything you want to throw? We've talked a lot about concussions, and I'm glad we have because it's important stuff. Anything you want to put a bow on here on this discussion?
I think a caveat is that it doesn't just apply to high schools and middle schools. The state law itself also applies to like community-based youth athletic activities, whether that's organized by a city, a county, a business, a nonprofit. If the majority of their players are 18 and under, the concussion law applies to them as well. And so, if your kid's in junior pro or doing a club sport, those parents and those kids should be signing off on forms every year that touch on, the nature of concussions, what the symptoms are, risks, and managements every year. And if your organization's not doing that, I think it's a good thing to look into. And that's just a great way to educate the public as well.
Okay, you have said this very well, and as is often the case, you've been able to get around my screw-ups and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about and straighten it all out. Holly, I appreciate it. You have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Hey, tell Kelly Ziegler, give him this message for me. You ready?
Sure. Yep.
Tell him if they're going to fix Tennessee's run defense, that he may have to suit up tomorrow night against Alabama.
I'll send him a text message right now.
Please do. Tell him I said hello.
All right.
Kelly
will. Thank
Ziegler
you.
with Star Physical Therapy is a former University of Tennessee Vol and a really good person to go along with it. You're supposed to say over there, Parker, "Oh, I remember Kelly," but you don't.
Well, for the sake of conversation, I absolutely remember Kelly.
No, I don't think you do.
I don't.
Oh, good guy. Good guy. We'll see him at the old Plaster and Friends bowling.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay, give me 3 or 4 players that we need to pay attention to tonight. Any of them out of the BGA Pope Prep game?
Not tonight, George.
Okay.
Not tonight, because I fully expect BGA to win the game. But my personal game of the week will be Green Hill and Lebanon. And Green Hill's quarterback, his name is Cannon Burrows. And Cannon Burrows is committed to UT Martin. He is a big kid, standing at about 6'2", well over 200 pounds, very strong, very gifted runner, can throw the ball a mile. The offense runs through him, and he is the all-time leading passer at Green Hill High School. He's been a 3-year starter. Josh Crouch, who we talked to at the beginning of the hour, this is a senior-heavy football team, and it's led by their quarterback, Cannon Burrows. So that offense is going to run through him tonight. They welcome an undefeated Lebanon Blue Devils team to Mount Juliet. If they want to put a 1 loss in Lebanon's record, it will be because of Cannon Burrows. So that is the first player to watch. And then flipping over to the other team for Lebanon, they have a running back by the name, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but Jayan Izita. How did that sound, George?
How about by a vowel?
By vowel?
By a vowel.
By a vowel?
You've never seen, what's the show, Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Where you buy a vowel? You may need to buy a vowel.
Yeah, I may need to buy a vowel or two with this one. His number is, we'll just call him number 17. And that's who Coach Crouch pointed out. That's Lebanon's offense, very run heavy, runs through him. They like to use lots of motions, lots of eye candy, kind of imagine a Steve Sarkisian offense, but at the high school level, and that is Lebanon. And that offense runs through him. So if they're going to want to beat Green Hill at Green Hill on the road, it is going to be because of him, the running back number 17 at Lebanon. Moving on to, we're going to stay in or go to the private school ranks. Good Pasture plays Franklin Grace tonight. Franklin Grace is undefeated. Good Pasture is traveling on the road.
Okay, hold on a second. Franklin Grace. That's not Grace Christian Academy.
That's what George Robinson, because I said Grace Christian, and George Robinson said Franklin Grace. I guess they go by both.
I'd never heard that before, but go ahead.
Grace Christian. We'll just call it Grace Christian. They're playing Good Pasture tonight. They welcome Good Pasture to town. 5-2. Good Pasture, a bit of a surprise this year. They have a quarterback by the name of, get this, Chase Angel. Chase Angel. And he's another.
I got a better one for you.
Okay.
There was a game earlier this week, one of these Conference USA deals, and there was a linebacker, first name of Mr.
Mr. Well, what team was this?
I don't remember which one, but I was like, do what?
Yeah.
Kid's first name was Mr.
There's a tight end at Colorado State named Rowdy Beers. So they're all over the place.
Nice.
They're all over the place. But Chase Angel is Good Pasture's quarterback, a big, strong, physical kid, can throw the ball with a lot of power. If they're going to want to give Grace Christian their first loss of the season, it'll be because of him. And I kind of cheated on this one. I didn't pick a specific player. I just picked the entire side of the ball. And I picked Mount Juliet's defense because they're playing Wilson Central tonight. Big rivalry game. Those two teams hate each other. There's been a lot of turnover within the quarterback room at Mount Juliet. They haven't been able to find a stable quarterback to run their offense. Their offense has really struggled because of it, but they're pretty good on the defensive side of the ball. So in order to have a puncher's chance against Wilson Central, who is 5-2 on the year, Mount Juliet 1-6, their defense is going to have to play great, and they're going to have to make this, as I like to say, a fist fight in a phone booth, really muddy this one up.
Nice. So do you want some weather stuff?
Sure.
Okay. So I have thought for a week to 10 days, man, it's way, way warmer later than normal, right?
Right. I've been thinking the same thing.
Okay. And then I got to thinking, okay, George, you have been to World Series games in Atlanta. This shows you how different the baseball schedule is now. Game 1 of a World Series in '99 between the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves at Turner Field, I absolutely froze. Terry McCormick was with me. He was a lot happier, but he froze. Well, that's tomorrow, 26 years ago. Temperature at game time of game 1 of the World Series that night, mid-40s. And here we are tomorrow talking about 87 degrees for a high, which could have some effect on the Vandy LSU game. 87 sounds more like opening weekend of the season for a day game.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking the same thing because it's supposed to be fall, or at least that's what all the meteorologists are telling me. And I walk outside and it feels like second summer.
Well, look around. None of the leaves have changed.
Nope. I guess this is what Tennesseans refer to as false fall. Have you heard that, George?
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I mean, like I brought up earlier, we're going to have a significant change. In fact, let me just pull this baby up and get really specific with you. Tomorrow, the high could get as far as 87. But then on Sunday, an 85% chance of rain, where they came up with 85. I have no idea. Most of it in the morning, 71 for a high on Sunday, but 48 for a low.
Hey, George, you're getting some love in the YouTube chat saying you should have been a weatherman.
You know, it's always fascinated me. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm stalling around here for a second. I ran into Greg Ruff yesterday, and this is really pretty shameful. We sent Gruff Dog out the day of the tornadoes in '98. And
Gruff Dog? Is that what you call him?
Greg Ruff.
Greg Ruff. I actually know Greg.
My nickname for him was Gruff Dog.
Yeah.
Anyway, we sent Gruff Dog out the day of the tornadoes attacking downtown. That's probably 30 seconds of stuff that you'll never get those 30 seconds back.
Yeah,
I'll just tell you, here's what's coming. Watson Brown in the 4:00 hour. Terry McCormick with a Titans update. And my bets of the week on the George Plaster Show.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV, precision crafted for everything. Crafted to see more with an available ultra-wide pano moonroof, to go with your flow with available Google built-in, and to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. With a starting MSRP of $35,000. Acura, precision crafted performance. Google is a trademark of Google LLC. MSRP excludes taxes, license, destination, and handling optional features. Dealers set their own prices.
Experience the thrill at Gary Force Acura, proud sponsor of the Nashville Predators. GaryForceAcura.com.
Amber and Ian.
The West seems so much stronger to me than the East, but because of that, it's hard to predict the East, and anybody could win it. I like the Orlando Magic, the Pistons, certainly. You know, when Giannis comes to my Miami Heat, they're going to be the darlings of the East.
Of course. Yeah, that's definitely guaranteed to happen. I got the West in 5 next year is my prediction for next year's NBA Finals.
We're already doing it.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
The wait is over. The largest sports book in Kentucky is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Feel the rush of every play in a venue built for sports fans. Catch all your favorite games with an 80-foot screen, stadium-style seating, and live daily broadcasts from VSiN, the sports betting network. Plus, download the Circa Sports Kentucky mobile app today and start betting like a pro anywhere in Kentucky. The largest sports book in Kentucky, Circa Sports, is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The director is back. Hello again, everybody. It's the George Plaster Show. Hope you'll join me, Kelly Holcomb, and Billy Derrick Monday through Friday on 94.9 The Fan from 3 to 5 p.m. Talk sports with the Plaz. The George Plaster Show. Weekday afternoons at 3 on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny. Caleb Williams wanted to go to Washington, didn't want to go to Chicago. Now you're seeing why. This thing is a disaster because everyone saw it coming. If you were a quarterback and you had all the talent in the world, would you want to go pay for Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron for a franchise that has not developed a quarterback in literally 100 years? No, you would not. And so now they're getting exactly what you saw coming.
Mike Greenberg, Greeny.
Micah Parsons gets you a king's ransom. I'm old enough to remember the Herschel Walker trade. I was working in the media when it happened. And I remember people saying, I can't believe the Cowboys would trade him away. Oh, the Vikings will never lose again. And the Cowboys turned all of those picks into teams that won 3 championships in the next 6 years.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. When you want all the
going in and the score, blast the score. He risks one, they score.
And don't forget the
oh, what a stop! Sliding across to make the save. Backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is Smashville, we have you covered. Hear every Predators game right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. The rest of today, increasing cloud cover gradually and temperatures increasing as well. We'll have highs in the low 80s. Overnight tonight, we'll fall back down to the upper 50s and low 60s, and then up near 88 tomorrow.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network, ESPN 94.9, The Fan, a Cromwell media station.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Now time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. With his win yesterday, Max Scherzer became the fourth pitcher in MLB history to have a postseason win at age 40 plus. Who was the last pitcher to accomplish this feat?
Oh, wow. And that's a tough question. I don't think it's, well, you know what? What the heck? Let's dump this in Terry's lap. He's a baseball fan too. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. Terry, can you see the question?
Yes. I'm going to say it's one of two guys because they both played for the Yankees late in their career. That it's either Randy Johnson or Roger Clemens.
It wouldn't be Verlander. Verlander will turn 43, and I don't think in the last 3 years he's pitched in the postseason. What the heck?
He was with the Astros a few years ago. He may have been 40 then.
Ooh. Well, now that is a thought. Okay. I'm going Verlander. He's going Roger Clemens or Randy Johnson. Show us the answer.
I'm just going to say Terry's got this one.
Does he? Roger the Dodger. Roger
I didn't misremember that one, George.
No, you didn't, but he certainly misremembered some things in front of Congress.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes, he's
From
your
his
problem.
Red Sox days, no doubt.
Yeah, he's your problem. Hey, Terry, I brought up a couple of minutes ago, and I know you remember this. So Parker and I were talking about, okay, is it way warmer way later than normal? And it reminded me, Terry, 26 years ago, this weekend, Tennessee-Alabama weekend, you and I froze our butts off, mid-40s at game time, Game 1, Braves-Yankees World Series.
Oh, yeah. It was very cold that night.
It was, and so this 87-degree stuff tomorrow is a little different. So, okay, totally a random thought. I'm going to ask it. Will the Titans do some sort of a video tribute to Mike Vrabel?
No, that's already been that there is no video tribute coming from Mike Vrabel. I think don't think they parted on the best of terms. So let's just put it that way.
No, best as you can tell, how ugly did that get?
I think it got pretty ugly there at the end, George. You remember when Mike Vrabel was first here and then and things would happen, he would go out of his way a lot of times in the press conference to thank Miss Amy for this and thank different people, within the organization for certain things. That kind of flew by the boards after a while.
Yes, it did. So on to the game Sunday. No Calvin Ridley.
No Calvin Ridley, no Arden Key, and possibly no Draymond Jones. Also no Bryce Oliver. So they're going to have to dip into the practice squad for a receiver. They don't have a edge rusher on the practice squad. They've got three other guys, and if Draymond Jones can't go, their edge rushers are going to look like this. It's going to be Jihad Ward, who had a pretty good game against the Raiders, and then it's going to be Jalen Harrell and Ali Gay, two guys that were rookies last year. So not exactly the recipe for success. George, I can't hear you. Something has happened. I'm not hearing you.
Try again, George.
Well, let's try it.
I hear you now.
Okay.
I hear you now.
What I have always thought in the interim coach world is what really goes on is this. You get a bump for about a week or two, but then when it's all said and done, you eventually go back to you are what you are, whether Bill Parcells is coaching you, Mike McCoy, Brian Callahan. Is that kind of how you view it?
Yeah, and I'm not even sure they're going to get that with Vrabel coming to town because he wants to put his foot on their throat if he gets the chance. So it's going to take the Titans' best effort, in my opinion, just to stay in this game and not get blown out because I think, Mike Vrabel will be out for blood if he can get it.
What do you think will be different, in your opinion, about the Mike McCoy Titans as opposed to Brian Callahan?
Well, I think, he's been very close to the vest in saying what types of changes he wants to make. But I think trying to simplify things and make it a little easier on Cam Ward and the rest of the offense, maybe set up some things to provide some easy completions for him, I think would probably be in the offing. And if they can put something together, maybe, get him in some situations where he can go no huddle, maybe get him in some situations where he can roll out and you move the pocket and kind of simplify the read for him by taking away one half of the field and flooding the other half with, 3 receivers. So I think that might be some of the things that could be in the offing for Sunday.
Okay. You think it's the Patriots?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll say this very quickly. Drake May has shot up the quarterback, however you want to, the quarterback tree. This kid's going to be a handful.
Yeah. I mean, and it's interesting too, George. I mean, this is something we can throw out there. Vrabel kind of gets a reputation of a guy who doesn't really develop quarterbacks. But, what he's done with Drake May is pretty impressive. And what he did with Ryan Tannehill to get him turned around, looked pretty good too. And don't forget, Will Levis had some of his better moments when Vrabel's staff was there. So just throwing that out there.
Okay. See you Monday.
All right.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com. Here's a prediction. The Patriots might have more fans at that game than the Titans.
George, they're already starting to flood in. This is not a great weekend to be a national sports fan because you got LSU coming to town. Their fans travel well. And then that airport is busy because people are making their way in from Boston as well.
You been out there?
Well, 1025 is right next to the airport. So I do pass it.
Good point. Okay. You have update material?
I have more updates, I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
well, lay it on me.
All right.
You got into the Preds last night.
I did get into the Preds last night.
Yeah, we're a little more than a week into their season. And in a lot of ways, I'm encouraged. They're playing better hockey. And I want to say, what do they got right now? They've got 7 points in 6 games.
That seems right. I can double check real quickly.
Yeah, here's what is discouraging to me was last night. It's ridiculous that they get a loss. That, with 25 seconds left in regulation, they're going to win. And unfortunately, this has happened way too often in the Andrew Brunette era, and it gives people who want him out of here some cannon fodder. He has got to start to clean up late game situations. It goes all the way back to that playoff game against Vancouver. This cannot continue to happen.
Yeah, you're right, George. It is 7 points.
In 6 games.
Yeah, in 6 games.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Better start than last year. Starting off 0-5 versus 2-1-2. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So some NFL news. Trayvon Diggs has been ruled out of Sunday's game versus the Commanders, that game in Dallas, due to a concussion that he suffered at home, apparently. And there's no clear evidence as to what happened. But in this article I read, he's been ruled out with a concussion that happened in his home.
Was there an independent observer on the roof?
I don't know, but I really want to know what happened.
Weird.
Because
I bet the Cowboys want to know what happened, and maybe they do know.
Because that is just, I've never heard anything
weird.
like that. I've never heard anything like that. Ray McLeod, who is a receiver / returner for the Falcons, has been ruled out versus the 49ers, that game on Sunday Night Football. Again, this is another one of those private matters. I don't really know why.
That game will be a very interesting one. When I watch the Falcons, I'm seeing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde out of them. Here's what I mean by that. The Falcons have been good enough this year to go to Minnesota and get a convincing win against the Vikings. The Falcons have been good enough to take down the Buffalo Bills. The Falcons have also pooped the bed to the tune of 30-0 at Carolina. So this is an opportunity for them to go out against a wounded San Francisco that really doesn't know their quarterback situation and show people, okay, what are they? What are the Falcons?
I've been trying to figure it out because it seems like one week they can be really hot and they beat the Buffalo Bills in Monday Night Football, and then the next week they're getting blown out to the Panthers. So which one is it?
Okay, hold on a second. I want to.
I know you're seeing the.
Yeah, I want to respond to something.
Okay.
NSC Soccer plays Miami Messi coming to town. Has Plaster ever been to a game or watched soccer? Seth, I have been to more games out at Geodis Park than you have. Thank you.
And have you that part at the end? Have you watched soccer, George? I don't know. Have you watched soccer before?
I've been to more games than you have.
You've definitely been to more games than I have.
I've been to quite a few games. I will say this. Now, do I know soccer the way I know other sports? Absolutely not. I don't pretend to say that in any shape, form, or fashion. Soccer has a really long season. The thing starts with games in February, and they're not into playoff stuff. It's a long season.
I get confused with all the in-season tournaments.
There are a lot of, they've kind of taken the NBA playoff model a little bit and gone that way. Anyway, that's what's what.
I got one more thing before we head to the break. Rashee Rice is back from his suspension. He'll be back for the Kansas City Chiefs as they take on the Raiders. That'll be Sunday at noon on CBS. Thank you, George. Go NSC. Parker, you disappointment. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Seth. It's not that I'm not a fan of soccer. I'm not.
I love it.
I'm not very educated in it, so maybe you could help me out.
By the way, have you been to Geodis Park?
I've been to Geodis Park.
It's beautiful.
It's great. The atmosphere is awesome.
Yeah,
the atmosphere is awesome.
They did a heck of a job on that place. And I remember, of course, John Ingram, the owner, I've known for years. And I picked up the phone one day and I said, John, do you really have 23,000 season ticket holders? This has been a couple of years ago. And he's like, we do. And I was like, man, your staff's done a great job. That's pretty cool.
And they had that section, too, of people that just stand the entire game. And they're chanting. Like, it's great. And they throw the powder up in there.
They get into
LeBron
it.
James. And
They get into it. Okay, after the break, we got a big weekend of SEC football. Who better to talk to than Coach Watson Brown? He's next on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
the Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Bowling Night.
Earlier on Clinton and Friends.
Jordan in Texas. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? You know why I'm calling. Happy birthday, Dave. How about them Longhorns, baby? We back on track. We got the running game going. Archman and look dominant. It's just one game. We're coming back. We're kicking you know what. Hook 'em orange, baby. Love you, man. Woo!
Clinton and Friends. Weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Earlier on Clinton and Friends.
Jordan in Texas. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? You know why I'm calling. Happy birthday, Dave. How about them Longhorns, baby? We back on track. We got the running game going. Archman and look dominant. It's just one game. We're coming back. We're kicking you know what. Hook 'em orange, baby. Love you, man. Woo!
Clinton and Friends. Weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Are we having trouble reaching Coach Watson Brown?
It would appear that way.
This is an American tragedy.
I know. I was really looking forward to talking to Watson today.
Well, there's a lot to get to. There are some, first of all, the SEC's got some big time stuff this weekend, all inside conference, beginning at 11 in the morning with LSU and Vandy. And if we get Watson on, we'll talk about it. Look, I think LSU's got as good of athletes as anybody. The part I cannot figure out, we got Watson?
We got Watson.
Okay, let's bring him up from Cookeville, Tennessee. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm doing great. It's good to hear your voice again.
It is good to hear yours as well. You've been playing golf?
Yesterday I did. I sure did. Had fun. Great time of the year to play golf, and I've never done it in my life till I retired. So I've told
That's
many of
right.
my friends I've never hit a golf ball in the fall in my life.
Do you have any leaves turning at all up there yet?
Yeah, we do. We've got a couple of trees that are already kind of maroon looking, red looking here, even in our yard. So yeah, they're starting to turn.
We haven't got much here.
Lucky you.
Yep, it's coming.
Yeah, I believe it. Let's get on to football. Watson, I've got this belief that, yeah, LSU has great athletes, But I see Garrett Nussmeier continuing to make dumb mistakes, throws that a guy at his point in his career should not be making. And I think that's holding them back.
Well, it's obvious offense is holding them back. Their defense has been solid, and they've had to play a lot because the offense has not consistently moved the ball and is for sure not scoring points to win in the SEC. You're not going to score in the teens and win games in this conference, not in today's time. And George, I think he's still hurt. I think there's something on him we don't know about that they're keeping hid. He is not even close to the same player he was last year. It's not attitude. I listen to him talk. He takes credit for everything that he's not done well. I think he's hurt. I think it's two pieces. I think he's hurt, and I don't think the offensive line is very good run blockers. Fairly good pass protectors, but I do not see a toughness and come off the ball. I personally think that's the difference in the game is the two quarterbacks and the two offensive lines. Not many times I would have said that in my time through the SEC and being a Vanderbilt guy, but I really think the Vanderbilt offensive line is better and the Vanderbilt quarterback's been better, and I think that'll be the difference in the game.
Watson, Vandy's had the open date since they went to Tuscaloosa, and I know for me this feels like a real positive for them that it came at the right time. For a coach with an open date, does this allow players who really have not gotten the chance to emerge maybe a second shot?
Not really. You know, this late, if you had an early open date, if you had one in game after game one or game two, but you get midseason on, no, you're really doing fundamental things in practice, not a lot of hitting, and you're totally letting the guys injured heal. And the ones that can go out there, you're still not just like it would be in preseason. It's not the same, not this late. They're trying to make sure everybody's healthy, George, because if you hadn't got a chance to play within these next 6-7 weeks, you're going to get a chance because there's going to be bangs, bumps, and bruises everywhere. And second teamers are going to play in games as you go down the stretch. So they may be giving them more reps a little bit and letting them get some mental reps and stuff like that. But as far as earning a spot, no, I don't think that's happening in practice.
Okay, I'm almost going straight down the list of games in the SEC. 45 minutes later, Oklahoma and South Carolina play in Columbia. When I watched John Mateer last week, I kind of felt like, hey, this was too early. To me, there were signs that he's just not ready yet. But you're the trained eye in this kind of thing. What did you see?
I've had it happen to my starting quarterback at East Carolina many, many years ago, and it took much longer to get him back after surgery than this did. If I'd been a betting man last Saturday, George, I would have made a lot of money because I knew there was no way he was going to go out there and play. His ball was coming out soft. He hadn't practiced in a while. I promise you, he didn't get a ton of reps during that week because they didn't want that thumb to get real sore for the game. They would have been much better off playing the backup who had already played a lot of games for them and had played the week before, and maybe 2 weeks in a row. I'm not sure about that. But there was no way in the world that he was going to be anywhere close to what he was. So playing him, in my opinion, was his call. I promise you, it was his call. But a kid's going to always want to go out there, and I think playing him really hurt him and his image, and having a bad game, and it really hurt the team. I don't think the score would have been anything like it was if Mateer hadn't played.
Do you think Venables, by let's say mid-third quarter, should have been able to read the tea leaves and say, listen, this is just not working. We're going to push it back a week and see what happens?
Well, it's too late then. You might as well let him finish. The game was tight all the way through. It didn't get out of hand until mid to late fourth quarter, and I've been in so many of those rival games that, George, you're going to do the guys you believe in. You're going to put them out there. It is such a big game. And sometimes it's such a big game, coaches aren't real smart. So I can put that on myself. I can remember times this or that I might have done differently. I think they were going to let him play it out. I mean, again, he made the call. He made the call, says, yes, I want to play. Then the head coach has to make the call. Is he good enough to play and help us win this game? So I don't feel bad about that at all. I don't think anybody pushed him out there. I promise you, if it would have been me, I'd have done the same thing. I'd have said, yes, I can throw it good enough, put me out there. You want to play in that Oklahoma-Texas game, man. If there's a game you put all year, everybody thinks, George, Oklahoma, Nebraska, or whatever. The big game in those two states is in Texas A&M. I'm telling you, the big game is Oklahoma, Texas, period. The whole state works off of it for the whole next year.
Watson, was that a moment in the sun for Texas, or do you think they ride the wave of this and they're way better from here on in?
No, it's not. I think it's in between that somewhere, George. I think they're better. I think they're learning how to use Arch. Their defense is good now, real good. They're not going to give up a bunch of points unless they turn it over. And so I think Sark is learning that. He's getting a little more conservative with Arch, but they didn't play a formidable offense last week either. Oklahoma was just a fraction of themselves. So Texas is going to be there at the end. There's no doubt in my mind. I think Arch will get better every week. They should have used him the way they're using him now early in the year. He wasn't ready to take that wide open stuff and so many downfield throws, and he wasn't ready for that. And I don't get on coaches much. I got on Sark for two things. Number one, I didn't think he handled him well during games, putting him in bad situations that he wasn't ready for yet. And number two, he should have squelched all this best player in the country in the summer. That he could have done that easily. He's not ready for it. He hasn't played a game yet. Let's back off of this and let him go and let him earn his spot here. But let's don't put too much on him. He never did that. He let it all ride. And I thought that was a big mistake.
You got a huge game at 2:30. You've got undefeated Ole Miss, one-loss Georgia in Athens. Watson, when Ole Miss has gone there, they've gotten their clock cleaned. It's been a different story in Oxford, but in Athens, they have not played well at all. Do you think that's the way it shows up here?
No, but they're not. I think Georgia wins, but I think they'll play much better than they have in Athens the last couple of times they've been. But it will be a very good game. Georgia is not the old Georgia. I don't know that there's a dominant team in the SEC this year, period. There's a whole bunch of really good ones. But Georgia is one of those really good ones. But they're not better than everybody. It's been Alabama or Georgia now for quite a while, and that is not the case this year with either one of those two teams, in my opinion. So I think it's a good game, but I still think Georgia wins the game.
Okay, go back, because I'm guessing you saw it. The Georgia-Auburn deal with the play right before the half. Kind of give me some thoughts there. And does the SEC need to get in a room at the end of the season and say, we got an officiating problem?
I've felt this year, and I was awful to officials during games. I was awful.
I don't believe that for a second.
I said things that I even regret myself. Personal things. I mean, I was awful. I near got thrown out of a game in Athens when I was at UAB, and we're going in to take the lead in the game with about 4 minutes to go in the game, and 3 straight holding calls. We ended up punting. We couldn't even kick a field goal. And I called him everything. I told him he's throwing this game on purpose. He's blah, blah, blah. And it's the first time I've ever near been thrown out of a game. He said, if you say one more, I'm going to the referee to throw you out here. And I said, can you do that? And you said, watch me. And so he took up for himself. I was not good to him. But this is just, so I don't want to act like I'm prejudiced here, but I have a lot of respect for him. And SEC officiating through the years has been the best in the NC2A. This year it's not been good. I couldn't believe the call in the Auburn game. I just was sitting there watching what they're watching, George, and I thought nearly the whole ball crossed the white line before the guy hit it. So I just thought it was a bad call. Then the call in the Oklahoma game against Auburn again. The official can't miss that call when he hide the guy over there and throwing the ball and let that touchdown stand. The timeout that Kirby called, for God's sakes, and he's calling timeout right in front of that sideline official. And then he says, well, I was clapping my hands. We all watched him call timeout with his hands and could read his lips. And he's running down the sidelines. He ain't clapping, looking out on the field. He's talking to the official on the sidelines, and they let that go. God bless Auburn. I'm telling you, those boys have had a couple of rough goes, and maybe the worm will turn for them somewhere along the way. But I was shocked when that call was not overturned. Was shocked.
So let me try the Auburn part of this maybe a different way, because I agree with you that at the game in Norman, Oklahoma, that is one of the all-time screwings that I have seen of a team. And then you have the whole thing, in the waning seconds of the first half against Georgia.
Yeah.
And in particular, last week, they fell apart in the second half. Should Hugh Freeze be held to real criticism for the fact that when the bad things have happened, that they have fallen apart?
Well, I think you can't go to any one person but the boss. When your team plays one half like that and plays the second half completely different. He also said on Monday at his press conference I think it was Monday, that Georgia did absolutely nothing different in the second half. I think a lot of people say, well, they said on TV, well, they're making some nice adjustments. And Hugh said they did not change one thing. And we ran the same plays that we ran in the first half, and nothing worked. So I don't know how you can, when your team loses it like that, George, I don't know anybody else you can go to, because there's one boss and there's one guy standing up in front of them and talking and reacting to things in that locker room at halftime that have gone down, and go in there with a positive, aggressive, no big deal, guys. We're still up here. Let's go back and win this game. And I thought he walked off the field with his head down and, the whole deal. But easy to say. I've been there. It's hard to get that momentum switched. I'll have to admit I've tried to do it, and sometimes when we'd lose it at different places I coached, and sometimes it didn't work. So I'm not completely getting on. But if you're talking about who can you look to in this, the main one is your head coach. The second one is your seniors, because I've been in many locker rooms sitting with situations just like that, just exactly like that.
So, Parker, for the record, Watson was on game day kinder to his sideline announcer than he was to the officials.
Is that true? I wasn't always kind to the sideline announcers either, was it?
Well, now, hold on a minute. The funniest one for me was when we went to Virginia Tech and you turned to me at one point, because they were really good, and you yelled out, "Why are we playing these guys?"
You don't need to tell that now.
It's a great.
Hey, there you go. No player, I hope, heard that one. That would not have been a good statement by me. I you were young when you were doing it. Chris Stewart, the Alabama guy, which you're good friends with too, and I'm very close to Chris. And I had to apologize to Chris a few times.
He was your sideline guy?
He started out his first job at UAB when he first got in this business. He was their sideline guy at UAB, and at least twice, probably more. I apologize when the game was over to him because he had to ask the tough question going off the field to half, and that wasn't a good time to be asking me questions.
Watson, you think about it though, we didn't do that.
We did there.
Yeah, but we didn't when you were at Vandy.
No, we didn't do it at halftime now, but well, I don't know if you did it at all, did you?
I don't think so, but I'll say this.
After the game, I thought maybe after the game you did.
If you want to get a coach,
remember.
If you want to get a coach, I mean, can you imagine being the sideline guy at Auburn last week as they're running off and Freeze is in no mood for any of it? Coach,
no, it'd be interesting to see the question. I mean, we played 36 FBS opponents when we were at UAB in my time there, 36 of them. And we played 2 or 3, Nebraska, Auburn, and maybe Arizona in the first year when we had 50 scholarships. So you can imagine some of the questions at halftime of those games. I mean, poor Chris, I don't know what you ask. I really don't know what you ask. Is anybody dead? Is everybody okay?
You're right. From where we sit at this moment at the Fordyce Center, I had a condo within a quarter of a mile of here. And on a particular Saturday night, I know what's going on. And I've got a really good radio that I turned to 870 WWL out of New Orleans to hear Watson Brown and UAB beat Nick Saban and LSU. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
How about that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, George, it's my claim to fame, man. I get to tell people all the time. I said I'm undefeated against Nick Saban and I'm undefeated against Joe Paterno.
Doesn't get any better than that.
I only played them once, but I'm undefeated against both of them.
So, Parker, I left open all the Tennessee, Alabama stuff for you. Watson Parker is a big University of Tennessee fan. He's got his Power T-shirt on. He's ready to go.
I'm sure he does.
The question is his defense ready to go?
That would be a good place to start, Watson. I was at the Arkansas game last week, and the run defense was very, very bad. And Alabama, Jam Miller has been questionable with a concussion. I believe that he's going to play tomorrow, but I'm more worried about the passing game with the guys like Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams on the outside. How does Tennessee's secondary match up against these guys?
I think Alabama is very good at the places that Tennessee has struggled up to now. But I'm telling you, it's Arkansas. I'm not ready to fold the 10 on that Tennessee defense yet. When you get big leads, it's just so hard. Play caller kind of gets a little more conservative. Everything changes when you get the big leads. They had the good lead. They're in the second half, and they kind of let them come back. And tomorrow, Parker, is the game. That's the game that Tennessee's defense must show. They will not outscore Alabama. They will not do that. The defense has to keep this game under control, and I can't wait to see if they can, because they just hadn't had to be called on yet. The Syracuse game was a very high-scoring game, and it kind of didn't matter. Mississippi State, they were probably the best of any of the better teams they've played, and Mississippi State got points, but that one's up there. This is the game. If Tennessee's defense can keep them under control and not let them do, they have learned a style, and it's not the Alabama style of the DeBoer style of the past. He has been a go-get-you guy. And they go to Georgia, and they fall into keeping the ball. They just fell into the game of being able to keep the ball, win the game. They come back home, and they say, "Whoo, Alabama, Vanderbilt's offense is pretty dang good, man. We're going to have to keep the ball if we're going to win this game." And they did. 100% kept it. And it won the game. And that's what they're going to try to do tomorrow. They're going to try to slow the pace, keep the ball, and keep the ball out of Tennessee's hands. Tennessee's going to turn around and go fast and score as quick as they can. The one that does that the best is going to win the game. And if Alabama keeps the ball like they've been keeping it, that means, Parker, to me, that Tennessee defense is not playing well. So I think Tennessee's offense will move the ball. I think Alabama's offense will move the ball. But will they do what they've done in the last two games and be able to possess it and keep it like they have? If they do, they win the game.
Right. And I don't really have many questions about Tennessee's offense. I mean, the receiver room is a little thin right now, but the starting receivers that they have, if they're able to stay healthy, very, very good. Where I think Tennessee has the edge defensively in this game is the defensive line. They're first in sacks in the SEC. Alabama has had some troubles protecting Ty Simpson, specifically on that right side. So if they're able to rush Ty Simpson from that side, if they're able to avoid the back-breaking play in the second half, I think Tennessee is going to be within a puncher's chance. However, I see this being a very high-scoring game like 2022.
I don't think it'll be – I think low 30s maybe. I don't think it'll get way up there like some of them have in the past. Both teams are playing solid defense to the point of not just giving up a ton. The only way Tennessee gets to rush that passer, Parker, is if they control the run. Alabama has sneakily run the ball real well in the last two games, well enough to let their passing game be solid. And where the other side over there isn't just laying their ears back and coming after quarterback. They've stayed out of long yardage situations. And if Tennessee can stop the run better than Georgia did, and even better than last week, if they can stop the run, then I think they're going to win the game. I think that's the difference in the game is Tennessee. I do think it'll be in the 30s. I don't think it'll go crazy, but I think the game will be in the 30s.
Watson, enjoy your football tomorrow, and something tells me you might sneak a peek at a 9:30 game tonight out on the West Coast. You don't have to react to that.
Might sneak a peek. And I tell you guys, I'll finish with this, George. I've been in both states for a long time. I lived in Alabama for a very long time. I've lived in Tennessee for a very long time. I'm telling you talking about both places hate one another. I am telling you, the Alabama people absolutely cannot handle the Tennessee people. And the Tennessee people can't handle the Alabama people. That's why I absolutely love this game. Now, I was in that with Alabama and Auburn too. But I'm telling you, I'm not so sure behind the scenes if they don't hate the Tennessee people more than they even hate the Auburn people. And
I believe it.
That's why I love this game. I love this game.
Watson, the only place where there's more hatred is BYU and Utah, all in the name of religion.
Ooh, yes. Those two now have had a long history themselves now.
And they play tomorrow night at 7. Right. Hey.
And I'm telling you, this Miami-Louisville game tonight now, I think it's going to be a lot better game than people think. I think Louisville's going to be right there.
I think you're right. Hey, thank you for doing this, as always.
Glad to do it. It's always an honor. See you guys.
It's the other way around. It's an honor to have him on. What a good man he is. And I'll tell you this, when I was his sideline announcer, he treated me great. But we also didn't have to do an interview.
Yeah, he didn't tell you a new one like he did the officials.
He didn't. That's hilarious to hear. We'll go to the break. Oh, let me do this before we go to the break. Pete Thamel is reporting that LSU linebacker Whit Weeks, who has an ankle injury, plans to warm up and attempt to play tomorrow. He's considered doubtful as he's been limited in practice and faces long odds to play. He's expected to give it a shot as he battles a bone bruise. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Here on 94.9 The Fan.
So over the years, you have seen us do shows at Levy's Clothing. My friend David Levy, who runs it and will be out there again soon near the holiday season, they celebrated yesterday their 170th birthday as a company, the longest running company in Nashville history. Pretty amazing, 170 years. I just wanted to say that. Congratulations to the entire Levy family. That's something to be proud of.
It's fantastic. 170 years.
170.
Doesn't seem real.
Here's what not to be proud of.
All right.
That was your cue.
Oh.
Parker, where were you?
Sorry.
Your cue. Here's what's not to be proud of.
All right. Plaster's bet of the day is the thing that we're not proud of. Brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. I won't even read the record today. I won't even read it.
67-2.
I'm not going to read it.
I was feeling good when I had the Steelers. You know, they're up 10-0, and they completely collapsed. They folded like a cheap suit.
At the hands of Joe Flacco, nonetheless.
Joe Flacco was really good.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, so I got a bunch of plays this weekend, and you can look at this one of two ways. Either go against me because I have sucked, or say to yourself, Well, every dog has his day. This will be his. Let's start with the one at the top. Why in the world is Georgia Tech a dog at Duke? What does Vegas know that I don't know?
I don't know. I've been wondering this for the whole week. I don't know.
I mean, this is one of those that I don't get. We're going to find out. Am I right in backing Haynes King, or is Vegas right that Georgia Tech's going there and going to have a big old letdown? Because Duke has done absolutely nothing to be a 2.5-point favorite in this game. I'm taking Vandy, and it's interesting what Watson Brown said, that he thinks Garrett Nussmeier is hurt, and they're kind of trying to not necessarily hide it, but sort of mask it. Because Nussmeier, once or twice a game right now, is doing something that puts that team in harm's way. They don't run the football a lick. I'll admit I didn't think Vandy would be favored. I thought they'd be about a 4-point dog. I think Vandy's going to win.
I think Vandy's going to win as well for a couple reasons outside of Garrett Nussmeier. One, if Whit Weeks is hurt, or he doesn't play,
that's a big loss.
That's a big break for Vandy. But LSU, they ran the ball good last week against South Carolina, but I need to see more of that before I start to believe that they fixed that on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going Vandy as well.
By the way, Perkins on the LSU side defensively is a beast. They'll want to stay away from him. I'm going Colorado State. I saw them a week ago. They were pretty darn good, pretty impressive. Hawaii, they're not that good.
I like their quarterback, though. Hawaii's quarterback is he's got a little bit of a dog in
What's
him.
his name?
Micah Alejado.
Alejado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I have no idea what's going on at UCLA. All I know is the last 2 weeks they have caught fire. Maryland, they've had a couple of really tough weeks. 14 days ago, they were one of the undefeateds. They are that no longer. And I think going out west, this is a team that will not be very enthusiastic about a long travel deal. They'll play in front of virtually nobody at the Rose Bowl, and I think UCLA smokes Maryland.
I like that pick because this game is at UCLA, and UCLA's offense has been on fire with Jerry Neuheisel calling plays.
Okay, I'm taking Iowa at home against Penn State because for all the talk about the firing of James Franklin, there is something going on inside that Penn State locker room because this team was good enough to have Oregon on the ropes in that whiteout game. And yet once that thing didn't go their way, they caved like a cheap suit. They weren't good enough to go to UCLA and win. They weren't good enough to beat Northwestern at home. There is something going on in that locker room. And the problem is Iowa is good enough to take advantage of it. And I think Iowa wins the game, and I think they cover.
Not to mention this game is at Iowa. Penn State doesn't have Drew Aller. They have fired their head coach. Iowa's a tough place to play. So I like that one as well.
Now, Parker does not agree with me on this one. We'll see who's right come Monday. BYU and Utah hate each other. For all of that religious talk, there is nothing religious when these two teams play. There's no respect. They hate each other, and they act like a bunch of heathens when they play. Count tomorrow night, if you get to watch, the number of skirmishes. There'll be at least 5 of them. Over under of 5 skirmishes. I'm taking BYU as the home team, even though deep down Utah is better. But oftentimes this game goes right to the wire.
George, I'm disagreeing. I'm going with the Utes. I can't get a read on BYU. I think they're good, but I also look at who they've played and their wins and how they've won them. Not that impressive. Meanwhile, I've been very impressed with Utah outside of the loss to Texas Tech. I'm going with the Utes.
On the pro level, I have 2 games, a 3:05 start time. The Chargers are only a 1.5-point favorite at home against the Colts. The Colts have been one of the most pleasant surprises in the NFL. No doubt about it. The Chargers will get after Daniel Jones. This one will be really hard for the Colts to win. If they win on the road at the LA Chargers, then we might have to rethink just what level of good Indy is. But I'll believe it when I see it. I'm going Chargers -1.5. And then there are the surging Bears. They've won 3 in a row under Ben Johnson. Big upset win Monday night in the nation's capital against the Deadskins. Notice that? The Deadskins.
Yep.
The Saints, they're awful. Bears -5. Biggest spread that I take in all of these games. Why? I think the Bears win by at least a touchdown. And they continue on this little winning streak that if they get the win, will have reached 4.
I've developed a very soft spot in my heart for Bears fans, just being in Chicago during college. They're so loyal, and they deserve a winner. So, George, I hope this bet hits.
Yeah. That's it for the week. We'll come back on Monday with our Titans analysis. Will the interim head coach have any effect? Hope so. I wouldn't doubt that there's a little bit of a bump for this first game, but this is a really good New England team. If you're going, you might want to take some rain gear because they're talking 80-85% chance of rain. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. We will see you Monday on the George Plaster Show.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. The rest of today, increasing cloud cover gradually and temperatures increasing as well. We'll have highs in the low 80s. Overnight tonight will fall back down to the upper 50s and low 60s. And then up